All right, so today we're going to learn about synthetic division. Okay, it is so we've already learned about operations with polynomials, and this is actually how you divide polynomials. Okay, so you can add, subtract, and multiply just like you can a number and all that stuff by combining like terms. But for division for polynomials, we have to use two different types of methods, and this method is going to be synthetic. Okay. So synthetic division is dividing them and getting rid of the variables. So you just deal with the numbers, and then at the end you put the variables back, okay? So here are the steps, okay? So you write the known zeros in the house, or the known zero in the house. So this is my zero. Let's get to here. So this is my zero right here, okay? Do you see how we changed the sign? It went from -5 to +5, okay? So that's write the known zeros in the little house right here, okay? List out the coefficients. We've talked about that word. Coefficient is the number in front of x. If there is not a number in front of x, it is an understood 1. So you're going to list out your coefficients. So if you look here, my coefficient is 1, -2, -8, and -35. Do you see how they drop those down without the variables? So then you start the process of synthetic division. You bring down the first coefficient. This is where the biggest mistake is made that I've seen teaching this, is y'all get in the process of multiplying and you forget the first number is always dropped down. Okay, you do nothing to that first number. Okay, nothing to that first coefficient. After you drop that number down, you're going to multiply the first coefficient by the house number. So I'm going to say 5 times 1, and I get 5. Then you're going to add these two numbers. Now I'm going to say -2 times 5 gives me 3. Okay? So we've done that. And then you're going to repeat the process. We're going to say, let's switch colors. So we're going to say 5 times 3, which is 15. -8 plus 15 is 7. You repeat the process as many times as you have numbers. So then I brought that, so -8 plus 15 is 7. So now I'm going to do it again. 5 times 7 is 35. And -35 plus 5 is 0. Okay? When you're done with that, so we've repeated it, you use the final numbers to write your polynomial. So these numbers right here at the bottom are our final numbers. And that's what we're going to use. Okay? So when you are dividing, remember dividing with exponentials, you subtract the exponents. Okay? When you divide, you're taking an exponent away because we're dividing by an x. So I have to take an exponent away from that 3. So I'm going to start with a squared. Your answer is always 1 less. For synthetic, it's always 1 less than the original degree. So this is going to be 1x squared plus 3x plus 7. Okay? All right. So let's actually do an example together. Okay? All right. So I want to divide these two. Okay? So this is my house number right here. All right. So this, okay, it's writing. Just making sure. So this is my house number. I wish it would stop. That's my house number. And remember, it's opposite, okay? So we're going to put in the house a +1, okay? Now, you have to make sure, this is the one thing that wasn't written in the steps, is that you have to make sure you're not skipping a term, okay? You have to have all your terms. So if I start with the cubic term, I've got to have a cubic term, a quadratic term, a linear term, and a constant term. What that means is your exponents need to count down. I can't skip a number. So see how they count down? 3, 2, 1, none. Okay? It has to count down because we're going to have to talk about placeholders when we get there. Okay? So we take our coefficients and we write them in order. So this coefficient is 1. This coefficient is 3. This one's -1. And this one's -3. And we're going to start our process. You write the first number down, which is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Do it again. 1 times 4 is 4. -1 plus 4 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. -3 and 3 make 0. Now, this right here in the box, we call that our remainder. Okay, and it means something, and we're going to learn about that when we get to our theorems next, okay? So this remainder actually means something, and there's theorems for it, okay? Now, our question started with a cubed, so our answer is going to be a squared. So this is going to be 1x squared plus 4x plus 3. And since our remainder is 0, we don't have to write it, okay? And that will be your answer, all right? All right, let's do another one. Let's see. All right, here's another one that doesn't skip. All right, so let's go. So you write what you're dividing by in the house by changing the signs. So that's going to be a -4. Check your exponents. 3, 2, 1, 0. We're good. Write your coefficients. 1, -7, -7, and 20. And then we start the process. Drop the 1 down. -4 times 1 is -4. -7 plus -4 is -11. -4 times -11 is 44. -7 plus 44, hold on. Let's see, 44 minus 7 is going to be 37. Times -4 will be -148. And then we're going to say, and we get -128, okay? All right, so this time we actually have a number down here, okay? I always box that last number in so I know not to write it into my equation, okay? Because this is our remainder, and I'm about to show you how to write it, because last one we didn't have a remainder. Now we do, all right? So you do the same thing. This one started with a cube, so my answer will be a squared. So this is going to be 1x squared minus 11x plus 37. My remainder is negative, so I'm going to do subtraction. And how do you write a remainder? You take the number and you put it on top of what you divided by, x plus 4. And that is your answer. Okay? If your remainder is 0, you don't have to write it like we didn't do last time. Okay? All right. So let's go to the next one. Now this is where we're going to be skipping terms. Okay? So we need to pay attention to this one. All right? So you write this, what you're dividing by in your house, opposite. So we're going to put -3 in there. Now look at this one. This one goes from 3 to 0. I'm missing x squared and x, aren't I? So if you're missing one of those, you have to put a placeholder of 0. So when I write the coefficients, I'm going to write the first one as 1, because that's the cubed. I don't have an x squared, so we put a 0. I don't have an x, so we put another 0. And then we finally have our constant, which is 27. If you do not put your placeholders, you will get it wrong. All right? You drop the first number down, multiply. -3 times 1 is -3. 0 plus -3 is -3. And -3 times -3 is +9. 0 plus 9 is 9. -3 times 9 is -27. And then that gives me a 0. Okay? So we started with a cubed. Our answer will be in a squared. So this is going to be x squared minus 3x plus 9. And there's no remainder, so that is your answer. All right? So next one. Next one. You write what's goes in your house. Opposite. So a +2 goes in my house. Let's get enough room. Now if you look, I go from 4 to 2. What number did I skip between 4 and 2? I skipped 3. So I'm missing x cubed. Then I go from 2 to 0. Well, I'm missing the 1. So I'm missing x cubed and I'm missing x. So you have to put placeholders where they're missing. So x to the 4th coefficient is 1. I'm missing the cubed, so I put 0. Squared is 2. I'm missing the linear, so I put a 0. And then -20. And then we start our process. Drop the 1 down. 2 times 1 is 2. Add it, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Add it. 2 times 12 is 24. Add them and you get a positive 4. Okay? Now, this one has a remainder, so we got to write it. So I started with my exponent being a 4, so 1 less than that will be a cube. So this is going to be 1x cubed plus 2x squared plus 6x plus 12. The remainder is positive, so we say plus 4 over what you divided by. And that, my friends, is your answer. All right, so there'll be a video on how to do your Delta Math too, so that I'll give you more examples on top of this. All right, guys.